For the last of miscellaneous characters from Data Squad, it's a look at the Damon family, featuring Marcus's father Spencer Damon and his sister Christy Damon. Both of these characters were featured prominently, and will get some side support to Phoenixmon decks, and a secondary top end for a Kentorosmon deck should you go the Bancho route. The last egg to go over is Pinamon, a Digimon with an on-deletion effect that deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with 2000 DP or less. When it comes to red decks, unless you're playing full board control, you just want to delete stuff. Unfortunately, I'm just not a fan of on-deletion effects, especially since not all Digimon have that small of a stat line. While it does hit floodgates, realistically, what are you trying to stop? I'm not a fan of this type of egg. Honestly, I really wish non-Koromon eggs got better effects. I really do. Even in sealed, it's an egg. Use what you get. Biomon returns as a new Digimon that is support for Akiho Rindo decks and Phoenixmon. On play, if this Digimon was played by an effect, wink wink nudge nudge, by returning one Christy Damon to its owner's hand, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Garudamon ignoring the Digivolution requirements and without paying the cost. Sick. A Warp Digivolve. Only downside, your Tamer becomes more limited to just Akiho Rindo and Christy Damon. The inheritable is simply on deletion, draw one card. For sealed, this card will also help if you're smashing recklessly into security. Aquilamon is the level 4 Digimon moving up this time. On play and when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. It has identical inheritables to Biomon, which makes it valuable in a sealed setting again, as you're smashing into security. As a common, you should be able to find these fairly easily. Garudamon is one element of Akiho Rindo decks that we're missing. A Digimon that can play a red Tamer with a cost of 3 or less without paying its costs. This accelerates your combo conditions as now you no longer need to spend a turn playing a Tamer. While you could utilize Tyrannomon to play the Tamer as well, the issue ultimately was the 3-cost Digivolution to a level 4. No level 6s for this archetype because Christy didn't get that far, but you've still got Phoenixmon from BT13. Now to Spencer Damon, there is Leomon, a Digimon who has a your turn once per turn effect that when a card is removed from your security stack, gain 1 memory. You could utilize this with Blinding Ray to not just gain 2 memory, but an extra one as well. For its inheritable when attacking once per turn, if the total number of both player security cards is 6 or less, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. Identical to Kudamon in regards to inheritable, but the search for Kudamon makes it superior. Leomon, when attacking, you may trash the top card of your security to give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 4000 DP. With Kiaromon from the Kentorosmon episode, you can give this Digimon jamming as well. Like Leomon, the inheritable is identical. Comparatively, I don't think Leomon or Repamon is absolutely amazing, but it does provide you a quick and easy way to trash the top card of your security to trigger a multitude of effects. As for Loader Leomon, this Digimon has Barrier as well, meaning if this Digimon would be deleted by battle, yes, even security battle, then you can trash the top card of your security to prevent its deletion. Conveniently, it also gives inheritable Barrier to your Digimon. In some ways, this Digimon is superior to Chironmon, for the fact that it is the only Digimon at this time that gives an inheritable Barrier effect. Meaning if you're going to do the jank idea I had in Kentorosmon and utilize BT4 War Greymon as a top end, not only do you give this Digimon jamming with Kiaromon when you pull back on a security, but during your opponent's turn, even if they attack over War Greymon, it doesn't do anything considering you could Barrier and Protect. The best part is that even with the Digivolving, this Digimon would still maintain the Barrier status, assuming it doesn't de-Digivolve by more than 1. Unlike Christy and Biomon who don't have a level 6 of this set, Bancho Leomon makes his return. This will be Bancho Leomon's second printing, switching from the green color to yellow. This Digimon has blocker, meaning that with Loader Leomon as an inheritable, you have a blocker with Barrier. Interestingly enough, Barrier is not once per turn, meaning you could trigger it multiple times. Unfortunately, blocking is only going to work once. Also, when Digivolving by trashing the top card of your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. And all turns, once per turn when a card is removed from your security stack, whether it be by battle or card effect, you may play one yellow Tamer without paying its cost from your hand. This Bancho Leomon is definitely Value Town, and for this set you have two options with both Richard Sampson, if you happen to pull Kudamons and Kantorosmons, or Spencer Damon. Christy Damon is another red tamer for the set. If you have a Digimon with Avian or Bird in its traits in play, gain 1 memory. Well, at least this gives some breathability for these decks. But it still upsets me that Sora doesn't have anything like this, and her solo tamer is the worst tamer in the Digimon trading card game. On play, one of your Digimon gains on deletion. You may play one Biomon from hand or trash without paying its cost until the end of your opponent's turn, meaning that a blocker can now instantly bring out a Biomon for your next turn, setting you to a minimum of 2 memory. Considering you can now warp Digivolve that Biomon into Garudamon for free by sending Christy back to hand, you are now one step away from Phoenixmon and Akiho Rindo's additional effects. But Spencer Damon is the final card for this episode's set review, having an all turns once per turn effect that when your yellow Digimon becomes suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn. End of your turn, once per turn if there are a total of 6 or less security cards in both player stacks. Treat this tamer as a 3000 DP Digimon that can't Digivolve and gains Blocker. While the Sun is more aggro, Spencer is more defensive. Overall though, I think he could be useful in a sealed setting for that extra block. But in a competitive scene, honestly not a fan. For the deck profiles for this episode, unfortunately Christy's Bird deck is missing promo Saberdramon, which would honestly really help this deck out. And for Bancho Leomon, I don't recommend it as a boss monster, but primarily think its function is best as sealed at this time. With that, there's only one episode to go for the BT13 booster versus Royal Knights. And that is all the miscellaneous Digimon unaccounted for. What are your thoughts on the Damon family outside of Marcus? And would you like to see some more support for them? Let me know. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.